And we are live. Gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Mecca of Banter podcast. I am this week's host, Henry Wind. You can find me on Twitter at Henry Wind. And let me tell you what, fellas, it's a great week to be a Manchester United fan. What can I say? 3 points is 3 points is 3 points. It just feels good when you get your business done nice and early in the weekend and you just get to enjoy the rest of the week. It's great. We got to see 6 points across the teams that we support. We get to see Manchester United with the W. We see St. Louis City with the W. But enough about me. Let's introduce you to the fellas this week, starting off with the trusty Andy Hoover. How are you?
I love that. The trusty.
Yeah.
I would say that I kind of am. That's a good point. Good, man. I'm good. Yeah. 6 points for my two teams. Retweaked the already tweaked hamstring at a wedding. Just absolutely breaking it down. So nobody to blame but myself and probably the 14 gin and tonics that were consumed pre-dance circle. Yeah, that was a huge bummer. I think my session's done. We're gonna look to return in the winter on that front. So, you know, doing my physical therapy exercises and trying to do what I can. Rest and ice.
Dude, I just I wish I could have seen it. Like, I knew that as soon as you did it, you were like, fuck. Like,
it was comical because everyone I was with knew about the injury, and I started doing the Will Ferrell drop down on your knees.
That's a good one.
It's my go-to, and
I know a handful of people who would revert to that move specifically, and you are one of those.
Yeah, and I felt it again. It was like, no, and everyone knew exactly what happened. It was super embarrassing, but we bounced back. We move, you know.
We move. 6 points definitely eases the pain physically, so that's nice. I would say the second most trusty member of the Mecca of Banter, Nick Hayflinger. How are you?
I guess I'll take second.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are
not an Arsenal fan. I'm not an Arsenal fan, so I'm not
true.
But I don't want to be anywhere near second.
Yeah, you guys are either not qualifying for Europe or winning. So
correct.
It's one of those things.
12 or we're up there. It's no in between.
Crazy.
But in good spirits, I have a feeling this podcast is going to be that way because we all are celebrating some wins. Also, in the soccer front, St. Joseph CYC 7th grade girls played St. Alban Road this weekend, 4-3 victory, and Miss Riley Hayflinger with 2 goals. Woo! Shout out to her. Finding some form, so good spirits this weekend from the Hayflinger household in the soccer.
Big derby win over St.
Big derby win.
The local turf war.
I hated those guys.
And last, but certainly not least, a Mecca of Banter favorite, the self-proclaimed founder of our group chat, JP Murray, all the way from sunny California. How are you, bro? Thanks for being here.
I'm doing amazing. I'm a late ad today. I just hit the boys to check in, and lo and behold, here we are. Coming off 3 points this weekend. Pretty expected from the Gunners at this point. Can't say 6 point dub, both because I'm not really following STL City. Secondly, we lost our Thursday night Tiki Taka League by narrow margin of 2 goals. But I'll join the Andy Hoover train and say that, gosh darn, he's the soreness and the way my body feels after playing a match every week is just a reminder that I am not 18 anymore.
We are in fact old.
I find a way to come back every Thursday ready to rock. Yeah, we took the loss. I think we're sitting at 8th in the table, so we'll have to luckily we're through the thick part of the schedule, and the next 3 weeks should be 9 points.
It's so funny, like, literally as an adult getting injured, you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's
so dumb, dude.
It's one of the most embarrassing things I've encountered in my adult life is getting injured as an adult. I just think that, like,
in our league, they do VAR and they record the whole game. So
for real?
Yeah.
Wow.
They do. It's like pretty legit.
Veta would never.
Sponsor. No, it's the head guy who runs it, like, former Barca Academy player. Dad played for Barcelona with all the legends, and they have it sponsored by Nike and have all these, like, you know, Galaxy players and LAFC players coming out, like, doing events weekly and shit like that. But I'll start to share a couple of the highlights. Kruppy's got like 16 goals or something like that.
Just bagging.
Dude, when you post those on Instagram, I eat them up. I love them so much.
So
I love the clips of the lads, dude.
We're playing against, like, you know, bunch of college kids, oftentimes, like, playing for academies or formerly playing at, like, USL clubs and things like that. I don't know. It gets a little chippy. We
Yeah,
got
a little chippy.
got
Showing up-
LJ
showing
on the
up for work
squad
the
and
next-
Jeff Silver.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. I think it was LJ. I responded to one of his stories, and he was like, "Yeah, Krupp just absolutely bags. Like he just scores
Yeah.
so many goals. Like, yeah, that's great."
natural bagsman. But I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, we're getting to that age where when you show up to work and you have to explain to like your coworker why you're limping, it's so embarrassing. Like,
Yeah,
I was playing soccer over the weekend. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I like
What are you,
totally
like,
screwed.
12
I
years old.
can't walk. I'm sorry. Real embarrassing. Real embarrassing.
Are you guys all in leagues as well playing?
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We all play on the same team. Yeah, yeah. Which is
Yeah, we
fun. But
ball on you, JP.
it's definitely not a VAR. We have none of that in the St. Louis Veta League.
No.
My God, is it the opposite?
It's the opposite.
Yeah,
Dude,
no.
and we lose our spine when Dobes isn't playing. Like we really need him to kind of run the field. But
We needed Krupp's goals, but we play 6v6, so it's like as long as you're giving up less than like 5 or 6 goals and you can put a couple on the score sheet, you're pretty much walking away with the 3 points, except last week. So
Is it 6 in a goalie or 5 in a goalie?
5 in a goalie.
Yeah, nice.
how's
Yeah,
the
we
keeper?
play-
That changes
Yeah,
things.
five aside.
Keepers, everything.
We play a 2-1-2, and like, we've definitely figured it out this year. We have a positive goal differential, and we'll be just fine. We'll make a
Eighth in
playoff.
the table though. Eesh, come on, boys.
You gotta climb the ladder.
Yeah, we've played every team that we play though plays 3 days a week all together on the same teams. They're all like 18 through 24, all four.
Don't do it.
Sponsors and jerseys.
Like one guy wore a ski mask last game. Like I was
Stop.
I forgot you live in Cali.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll say, I got to catch up with Anthony Russo in the Mecca last week, and he's over in Portugal now, living over there, and he was telling me about his league that he's in now. It is like the realest promotion relegation like league in
They had
Portugal.
tryouts. You had a
Tryouts, like 90-minute games, by the way. 90-minute games, 11v11. They have his ass playing striker, and he was telling me the other day, he's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm scoring goals. He's like, I've never been a goal scorer. He was like, I was like shitting my pants going to the tryout. I was so nervous, and literally 2 of my first 3 touches were goals.
Okay, wait. So it's not. So it is relegation promotion, but is it like? Can he get a contract,
I mean,
or is it like purely
eventually, I guess, but it is recreational. It's
Okay,
just like
it is
they take it
recreational.
super fucking hard. They have sponsors. They have all of that stuff.
Because like my thought was like Jake's homie Lenny like plays quote unquote like low ball over in London, or used to when he lived there, and Krupp joined and played in their team, but they were playing like the 6th division like FA Cup qualify like
Yeah.
United would be terrified to go there.
Foley had like an FA Cup match like a year and a half ago after like
That's
turning
That's
down
so
a
dope.
contract, and I was like, okay, that's fire.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Good for him. But ladies and gentlemen, I understand you tuning into this podcast to hear about our athletic prowess for sure. But let's talk about the professionals. Let's start off with St. Louis City coming off a convincing 3-1 win against Austin, which is sick. I mean, obviously it's too little too late. We're statistically,
we play well when it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at the sample size over the last couple of games, like we haven't played terribly. If we played the whole season like we did the last 5 or 6 games, we'd be just fine. We would be squeaking into the playoffs, but we'd be just fine. So I don't really know what to make of that, especially with no head coach, no sporting director. Still, that's going to be the age-old question of what we do. But some really good things from McSorley and Mekhi Joyner. They both got like 30-ish minutes in the game. The announcer themselves, as they came into the game, the announcers were very much like, this is a look for the future. These 2 guys are going to be getting a lot of minutes next year. They even brought up on the broadcast about how many contracts we have expiring at the end of this season. They have no idea what the roster construction is going to look like, but they know that these 2 guys are going to be involved. And that was cool to see. Gotta love to see it. Mekhi could have scored, definitely could have scored, but Marcel Hartle, man, those goals, the first one in particular, he just has bangers in his locker, which, where were those the last 2 seasons? But for whatever reason, the last 4 games, maybe he's just gotten the green light from Critchley to start shooting. But he's taken ridiculous shots from ridiculous angles and finding the net each time. It's pretty impressive.
I don't even know, like, I think the takeaways are the kids got some minutes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, we've just got nothing to really, like, dig in on.
I got one thing that we can dig in on, and it's
All
just
right.
because I realized and looked it up. We are now ahead of Sporting KC in the table. So
Fuck 'em, dude. Fuck 'em.
that's something we can hit on because we may not be that great, but they're still shit. So
They're
hey,
still worse.
And if we finish this season, it'll be 3 years in a row that we do finish above them in the table, which is hilarious. And at this point, all I want. But
hang it in the rafters. Call us
hanging
up.
in the rafters.
Hang it up there.
Yeah, Hartle's one of the guys who has contract next season, I do believe. I think he's going to be the captain.
Me
just
too.
generally speaking on what we've seen this year. Love to see the kids get some minutes. Fall is a good center back. That's nice. Yeah, that's really about it.
Pretty much
The
it.
goal we gave up was scruffy and lame, too. It was just poor corner defending. But,
Whatever.
you know, we move.
Yeah, we move. I want to give a special shout out to Alfredo Morales, who has played some minutes this season. He was never expected to be the stand-in starter week in and week out, but as soon as the Chris Durkin injury happens and Leuven's out for the first half of the season, he plays a lot. But specifically in this game, I think this was one of his best games that he played for St. Louis City. Just a really professional performance, had a couple of absolute pings. And
that ball to Betcher was nice.
He's been so hit or miss for me, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like early on, like game 1, I even looked at you guys and I was like, this dude's really good.
Dude, yeah, I know the first two games of the season, we're like, this guy is balling in the middle of the field.
And then he kind of died off. But
just so hard.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
He's very much, I feel like, a confidence type of player. Like when his confidence high, he's gonna
Isn't he like 36 too?
Yeah, he's super old.
Damn.
He has to just be a good locker room guy too. And I'm almost positive that he used to play for Austin FC as well. So like you're always going to show up for those games.
And hey, we were just talking about it. Your recovery at that age is a lot harder. So
good on him.
Dude,
good on him.
No kidding, bro.
Good on him. But let's talk Premier League, shall we? Let's get into the juice of this podcast. We're going to start off with Tottenham because those Spurs just finding a way to do it. Doesn't always have to be pretty, but
can
Thomas
we please
Frank.
get a clean sheet? I'm about to get rid of Christian Romero on my fantasy, dude. Like,
yeah, dude.
Come on.
It wasn't an issue first 5 games. First 5 games was pretty comfortable. No, this was a game that I've seen Spurs lose 3-1 7 years in a row. Like 100%. This is just what they do. And it's like I sent the tweet in. Newly promoted side, early kickoff, day before an international break. That is lose city for Spurs. So yeah, I mean, it was a super gutsy performance. I think the big takeaways are Mohamed Kudus is a dog. He's a demon. I'm afraid we've got a demon on our hands.
Oh, he's just so fun, man. He's just so fun.
He's 30 successful 1v1 take-ons so far, and the next closest in the league is Doku at 14. So that's awesome. 30. And not even like I think I sent that in. It was that Opta that's Twitter account or whatever. We've been begging for that profile. Like, and 30's way more, I'd be happy with like a Doku-esque guy who can just beat somebody. He does it so consistently and so often. It's so much fun to watch. I think Xavi Simons is finding his form a little bit. You can see how well he dictates the game. He's overplaying at the moment, which I think I've called out before. His Rabona flick that was dude.
It would have been unreal.
He realistically should have taken his left foot. The guy's wide in and slot him through.
He also played a really nice.
Cool.
He also played a really nice chipped ball through to Porro, who bought.
Yeah, who scuffed it. Yeah.
Box. Yeah.
I think Javi's a great signing for you.
No, I think
Javi
looks so calm and poised. I mean, sometimes I can't like he plays in an attacking position, but he's also so sure on like defensively as well.
Yeah, he tracks really well.
I'm intrigued to see him in matters.
Oh my God, the team that Spurs have with the current injuries is insane. If you get Kulusevski in there, I don't even know how and where all these guys are going to be on the field together because that's what you want. It's a great problem, brother. It's a great problem.
We're experiencing the same problem, but we've also had some injuries to go along with it. But it just feels good to have the depth to. I mean, like to be fair, like last year, Ange had nothing to work with. Like,
dude,
you guys were so injured all season, and Ange had absolutely nothing to fill in for the injuries that you guys were experiencing. So
Archie Gray and Ben Davies were lining up at center back together for a short period of time. That you want to talk about in the trenches. Those are the lineups that we'll look back at in a few years and be like, we made it out.
we all have
was rough.
We all have
Yeah.
but it takes good sporting development to fix that. And I feel Spurs are getting this right.
Well, and you can look at all the back end things that have happened recently too, and it's trending that way for the first time in my entire fandom. Like, no Daniel Levy, the owner's daughter's like, we want to win. Fuck that. Like, get rid of this guy. And I think on the development side too, we saw Tell score, and it was a deflection, but you want to talk about confidence.
Still a great goal.
20-year-old, it was a great goal. 20-year-old kid just needed to see one hit the net, and he was playing in his, striker position which is, where we saw him take up that space and put the ball in the net. So you've got big expectations. Obviously, he was an expensive, young player with a huge, really bright future. Bayern wanted to keep him. Like, there's a lot of things that point toward it still being good business. He's not been great, but this was easily his best cameo yet. And I don't even think it's it's cheap to say, oh well, it was against Leeds. Leeds have not been bad. And away at Ellen Road.
Leeds is gonna be fine. We'll see how they fight for their spot to stay in the Premier League. But what's the word on Tell's not being registered to the Champions League roster? That's it.
Yeah, no, I think that one's still weird, but also, you get that second, after the table phase or whatever, you get the league phase, you get to re-register after that, and then I'm sure they'll make some adjustments.
I'm still curious about that submission. Like, if you're planning on utilizing him in the primary domestic, competition, and he gets his first, I just don't understand the oversight, or they have
not right. Why is he not playing in this next game?
Yeah.
Right. Well, Thomas Frank came out and said, pretty honestly, which I think I've really liked Thomas Frank, and I don't think anyone disliked him when he was at Brentford either. He was just a really good, agreeable guy. Yeah, 100%. And he came out and honestly was like, I hadn't seen him play that much. I didn't know him. We brought in Randall Colomwani, who's been injured, which is hilarious because he's missed 2 games in his professional career before getting to Tottenham and played once.
Genuinely, so I completely forgot you had him. I literally just had to pull FOTMob to make sure that you were telling the truth.
That was Ange. That was Thomas Frank's striker for the Champions League. I think he brought him in and was like, we've got a backlog now. And it makes it all that much more disappointing because Solanke is going to end up needing surgery. So, you register him with the anticipation he's out 2 weeks. He's going to have to get surgery. He's going to be out for a lot longer. Now you don't have Tell on that roster. There's definitely some interesting decisions on that front. But, he's been transparent about all of it. Just genuinely didn't know the guy, and now now he's rallying around him. And you saw at the end of the game, he had him by the scruff of his neck, pushing him out in front of the team to the away fans to get his flowers. So, good man manager.
One thing I'll say about Spurs too is had a lot of conversation just now about their attack, but they're sitting with one of the more positive goal differentials in the table. They've only given up 5 goals. Of the likes of, an Arsenal and a Newcastle, a City, a Crystal Palace, all teams who are pretty, sure of their squads and the balance of their squads, especially a Newcastle, for instance. On that same front, they're outpacing a Liverpool in terms of goal differential. I feel credit to the defense there, and I'm sure Thomas Frank's trying to make sure he gets that right because of last year seemingly was an atrocity for you guys. And the defense and some of the makeshift lineups you had to put out there.
Go ahead, Nicky.
I think we said it multiple times, and who will probably say it as well. When Spurs are fully healthy in their back four with their goalie as well, I think they're one of the better defensive teams. I mean, Christian Romero and or Van, whatever is, I always get it.
Mickey.
Get his last 3 names freaking always mixed up with all the different ones that are out
Those
there.
Dutch boys.
I know, Jesus. But those two together when they're healthy, I mean, that's a great partnership. You guys know me. I love a good center back partnership, and that's one that when they're healthy, they're very good.
Yeah, and it's you could tell that was Frank's first objective of getting in. Like we knew last year that the defense was good. We were just playing Ange ball. So, to a certain degree, we were genuinely relying on Mickey hamstrings staying together.
Mickey hamstrings Van de Ven, bro.
I might call him that. I think that was a good little slander.
That's really good.
I do think it's interesting to see last year's table results and Spurs, a couple a place away from relegation.
Nuts.
And seeing that they only had a -1 goal differential, which is in line with like an 11th place finish for 17th.
We were bagging.
Which just could probably points more towards the attack. But yeah, I mean, it's still interesting. If you guys can now, stay healthy, I feel like you guys will make a solid run in that top 7.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel way better about it than I did even at the beginning of the season. You obviously have to see how it all pans out, but I knew that we were. You just can't be more or any less defensive than Ange. Like that. That's just what it is. And Thomas Frank's history at Brentford was they were defense first and sprung wild counterattacks and love a set piece. And now turns out Arsenal JP can attest. Set piece goal come in handy when you've got a solid back line. I never doubted it. I would have liked to see more from Ange, but with the seeing the emphasis on it, it's so dude, the long throws back, bro. It's so back. Yeah. Barkley's ball is in.
You're spot on. If your defense can keep you in a game and keep a clean sheet, those set pieces matter, and those long
is that much more important. 100%.
And if your defense can put you in that position consistently, then you are going to be set up for success.
I'll take all the shit for the set piece glory that we're experiencing. It's
a compliment to your defense.
I don't really care. It's seriously, we have a bunch of new attackers in the rotation and they're finding a way to play with one another. You have, Leandro Trossard's getting minutes consistently, even though I didn't think that was going to be the case necessarily. You have Eze rotating in the middle now. Martinelli's getting time on the right. Saka's switching over to the left.
That's interesting.
It's all pretty interesting to see how Arteta is making the pieces fit. Obviously, you have Odegaard out 3 consecutive Premier League games sub before halftime, which is the first player ever to get subs 3 consecutive Premier League before halftime. Hopefully he's not out for too long because it seems like he's starting to find his stride again a bit, which we need from him. But yeah, defensively, it just seems like a league where if you're not giving up much in open play and you can be strong defending the corners and set pieces, and you can also get goals from set pieces, you're going to compete in this current Prem environment, I feel like.
I mean, you can see it live in action if you look at Nottingham Forest.
Totally.
Ange was the antithesis to Nuno, and Nuno finished 4th, and Ange hasn't won a game yet. That's just what it is. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what makes it interesting. JP, when you brought up Spurs finishing 1 point above relegation or 1 spot, sorry, I thought that's what you were going to bring up. That now Thomas Frank comes in with pretty much the exact same roster with a different way of playing, and now all of a sudden they're 4th, whereas Ange took kind of the opposite. Nottingham Forest had a hell of a season last year. They finished, I don't even remember where they finished, top 6, top 8. And now he's in charge of them. Didn't lose too many guys, and then they're at the bottom now. So it's really interesting how just a change like that can influence it. But let's go to the Arsenal lads.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I will say, I was very interested. I didn't get to watch this, obviously, because United was on at the same time. But to see a midfield 3 of Rice, Eze, and Odegaard, I was super stoked to see that. I think that is, if you can figure it out, obviously Zubimendi is Zubimendi, and he's fantastic. He's hard to leave out of a squad. But this is a lineup that I feel like you could really, that midfield 3 can take it to another Premier League team. And it was a shame that Odegaard went down as soon as he did. But yeah,
especially in a low block like West Ham was always going to put out.
Yeah, that's what you need.
So far, and Zubimendi came in and unlocked the game. I don't know if
I was about to say, I hate to say it, but I think Odegaard's injury almost helped you in that game.
Yeah, Zubimendi coming in. If you look at the key plays from the goals, Zubimendi hitting the chip pass into Urian Timber, and then also unlocking Eze through the right middle of the defensive line to have that shot rebounded straight to Declan Rice. Yeah, my favorite midfield trio that has started this far is Rice, Zubimendi, and Eze in the center. And I think we saw that I'm looking back here at our results. I think we saw that at Olympiacos, I want to say. No, actually, that was Odegaard, Zubimendi, and Marino. But we saw a Declan Rice, Zubimendi, and Eze midfield trio, and I'm between that and what we just started with against West Ham. I feel like that's where Arteta is going to keep it most consistent. I love Mikel Marino. I just would really prefer to see him coming in off the bench and doing what he does and impacting the game and the way
Up top, that is.
he does it.
What he does is
He does
top.
it.
Yeah.
Such a he's not a flashy player.
He's so great at everything. He's not he's not elite at one thing. He's
Correct.
just great at
He's just a really solid midfielder.
Yes.
What's crazy to me is like he really just has a knack for scoring goals. Like
you're spot on.
You look at him for Spain, for the national team, and at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Like he is just good at getting in, finding himself in positions to score goals.
He's a great depth guy for you guys, and I'm actually kind of jealous
for
about it.
sure. And I'm happy to see him start games, along Zubimendi or with Declan Rice. And I'm happy to see Marino, Zubimendi, and Rice in the same lineup. Like, how much sure of a midfield can you get from those three? You're losing some attacking edge, but if you have Eze starting on one of the wings, like you can kind of counterbalance that a little bit. We have a really, on the wings, we have very athletic left and right backs. So, in terms of covering defensively, that's typically taken care of. But yeah, it is interesting to see the way that Arteta is playing with the starting 11 each time out. And I'm honestly a little bit bummed to not see more of a chance for players like Nwaneri and Max Dowman out there, but it is what it is. Like, I'm itching to see Max Dowman come on in a Champions League match. I'm itching to see him come on in the Premier League more. I want to see Nwaneri get minutes more often, because otherwise I think he's going to go elsewhere and get his game time. And that's the honest truth of it. Like, I know when he extended, he was really wanting to make sure that there was guaranteed playing time, like as a part of those conversations with Mikel. And so far he hasn't gotten a ton of it. And, he definitely has the ability to impact games and be a really, really strong young player in the Premier League. But we just have so much depth now, and it is what it is. So we'll see. We'll continue to see how that develops from the topic of the young guys. But yeah, to have the depth that Arsenal have right now across the board, I mean, and you're speaking to it with Spurs, like you guys are going from last season to this season, finishing 17th. Now you're sitting top 4, 7 games in. Just to speak on Arsenal bluntly, like I'm so confident in what the season can bring, just simply because of that depth. Like that last minute as a signing, night and day. Otherwise, we are forced our hand to play someone like a Nwaneri on the wings. And we've already lost so many players to injury, and temporary injuries, that is, like relatively short term, minus Kai. Forget we have Kai Havertz out as well. And we have Madueke.
I forget he was a football player. Yeah.
October 2025.
Yeah. So, we just have all this depth, and I'm curious how Arteta continues to mend it together. I'd say what's keeping us this consistent right now is defense. Like we defensively, like
100%.
It's what's matches. We have one open play goal conceded in the Premier League, and it was Haaland, who is the most informed striker arguably in the world right now, alongside Harry Kane. One open play goal in 7 matches. Actually, no, I can't say that anymore. Woltemedi or whatever the fuck, however you say his name, against Newcastle. But prior to that, we've allowed 3 goals, 2 from open play, and churned out points in both matches. So
can we have a serious conversation on the other end of the ball, though? Do you like Giōkeres?
Giōkeres, I've watched nearly every minute of our competitive matches this season, and Giōkeres is an absolute necessity for our team in terms of the space and the space he creates off the ball.
Disagree with this.
And passes together, being an option for our midfield and our wingers, but then also his physical.
He reminds me of Timo.
Hopefully not, but
no, really, he does.
I will say this. Giōkeres versus Timo, like regardless of off the ball, chance creation and creating space and whatnot for our midfield to play through, his physicality is something that we have not had in so long. Even with the likes of like an Aubameyang or like Aubameyang was our striker. He was.
Havertz wasn't giving you that either. Yeah.
It's the first time we've seen it since Olivier Giroud.
Yeah, probably right.
You know, but like, I can't like argue with the fact that the marks around him because of his lack of goal scoring. I mean, he's got 3 goals in 7 games. I'd like him to have 5 goals in 7 games. Bukayo Saka took the penalty the other day, and they both kind of picked up the ball to take it, and Saka was like, "No, I'm taking this." And you know, rightfully so.
I thought that was interesting.
I thought that was interesting as well. But Arteta's quoted a couple times over the last, I'd say, honestly, like week, because people are kind of having the same discussion and bringing up the same question you are, Nick. And Arteta could not be happier with Giōkeres' impact in the team and in the gameplay. You know, so I kind of feel the same when I watch him. I feel an assurance. I don't feel like we're missing something up there. I think when we first saw Kai come into the team, you could tell. I've seen some side-by-sides comparing Kai's first few games as a striker for Arsenal with Giōkeres, and it is night and day because Kai was learning this position. We brought him in to do that. Arteta was trying to essentially develop a player into a new role, and it took time. Kai looks great there now, and we saw that in glimpses in preseason. And when he came on for Giōkeres 70 minutes into the first in match week 1, but Giōkeres just is much more thorough of a purebred in terms of the striker position. Now, when we get Havertz back, I'm sure Giōkeres will feel the needs.
That was going to be my question, is when he comes back.
I think we're going to see Havertz start more matches. I think Giōkeres is going to get rested a bit more. I think the way Arteta typically makes those decisions is based on the footedness of the center backs that we're playing against. Is oftentimes, you know, if it's a left-footed center back versus a right-footed center back, like Kai's obviously left foot dominant, that's where we're going to see those changes get made. But what are you guys laughing at?
And that's just so fucking funny, bro. It's like that is such an Arsenal thing to say.
Why?
Like that specifically? Because I hear what you're saying.
Arteta will make those decisions based on small details like that. I'm not saying just
but like, okay, so I agree with you on Victor Giōkeres being like super important to the way that you all play. Off the ball, like if you're drawing attention to you, which is why Timo Werner, like what Nick said, like again, it's the Champions League final run, the run that he makes to leave Kai wide open in the middle of the field. Chelsea don't win the Champions League without Timo doing what Timo does. Like, and he missed a fuck ton of goals, and that's why Timo is like such a polarizing character.
He's a free agent currently. So
yeah. So like I understand the comparison. Like, I mean, bro, I'd be so fucking disappointed if I were you. Like, you have Giōkeres coming in as like the top scorer in Europe. He's like this guy who has his own fucking celebration. He's a bully. He's physical. He's so fast. He's so powerful, and he hasn't shown any of that. Like in the
striker of the year over Harry Kane, and Harry Kane's playing against whatever foot your center back has.
Yeah, so that's what makes me laugh. Like you have the striker of the European year, and you're talking to me about Arteta choosing the striker over the footedness of the center back.
The intangibles are good.
But to be fair,
like so funny.
That was only down we were only down that rabbit hole on the basis of when Kai Havertz is coming back, because Kai Havertz is gonna get game time. He's gonna substitute in and rotate with Giōkeres. But I'm largely not very disappointed in Giōkeres. Would I love to see him bag in his next few games out? I think it's a necessity. I think Saka, honestly, like has every right to take that penalty. Would I have liked to see
100%?
Absolutely, yeah. I would have liked that, but no.
I would have loved it for fantasy.
Yeah. No issue there. I think the Newcastle penalty callback, I feel like that wasn't a very clear and obvious error to call that a penalty and pull it back. I think, and in the same vein, I'll say the Gabriel handball was such, but we had a penalty 25 minutes into the game with Giōkeres lining up to take it, having earned it. He scores in that game. We're not necessarily as concerned here. He's 4 goals in 7 games, and may have scored again that game if he would have gotten to step up to the spot there. But no, I'm not very concerned. I'd love to see him bag in his next few matches out. But as far as what he looks like in the team and the way that we're playing with a true 9, which we haven't in years, I'm happy with it.
He just looks so clunky to me. I don't know.
Clunky.
He looks-
Clunky is a good adjective.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest though, Henry. I mean, your striker over there doesn't look much better either.
For
Like,
sure.
they're
I
both
mean,
very
but
clunky boys.
Similar, actually.
I will
very
say,
Šeško
I will say,
didn't come over as the striker of the
you're
year
right,
in
but
Europe.
similar
And he's also,
also-
what, 22?
Yeah, he's super young and like
Yeah.
he's developing. He's also like 6'5" or
I will
whatever it
say
is. Like
that,
he's
uh,
fresh.
Giōkeres is a slow as smooth as fast is kind of the way I look at it. Yeah. He's like when he gets on
I like that.
when he gets on the ball, his touches are extremely efficient. He's dishing the ball off 1-2 touch. You know, he is not really also his hold up play has been excellent.
He looks like to me every time he has the ball at his foot, he wants it off his foot as quickly as possible. Like it almost looks like he like doesn't want the ball at all. But I mean, also like very early, I'm not also watching Arsenal day in and day out like you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I know anything
No,
about
I mean,
it. But
we're-
like just based on some of the clips I've seen, boy, am I like, damn, that's a lot of money for a striker that you guys thought would
for
be
example,
over the
your
edge. but he
whatever
isn't.
For You page or algorithms tap to you, you're probably getting Giōkeres fucking.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. Or like those clips are still clips. Like it's not like they're
You're like it doesn't take them
No,
away.
they don't.
Correct.
I'm not
Like-
saying that they don't happen, but in the pace of play and when you're watching the overall match, like he's putting up really strong team performances and creating.
I'm happy Arsenal fans have that viewpoint of him.
Hey,
Kind of reminds me of Richarlison in some aspects.
I
Great
think
hold
he-
up, great intangibles. We'll bang you a pin, maybe a header here and there.
It's just
Not
funny.
beating guys on the dribble though. It's
yeah,
Whatever.
I will say there's been a few moments with Giōkeres, like with a scoring opportunity where I wish he would have, done something a little bit more clever or finish properly. You know what I mean? But also, it's nothing beyond like the standard level of like grace period I would give someone transitioning to a team that is this developed and is on year 6 of a project. You know what I mean? Like he's making the manager happy and he's getting 90 minutes every single game.
beating out 007 allegations in this day and age is a big deal. It is a big deal.
And I just love
Yeah.
hearing JP say
Yeah.
year 6 of the project. Like that's just fucking
Well, we look like
Crazy.
we look like the top 3 teams in the world currently. I'm not can't say anyone else here will be able to put their hat in that ring. So
hanging in the rafters, brother.
Well, I mean, you have the champion of the world on this call. You realize that, right?
Yeah, what are we talking
The
about?
standing holder of the champions of the world is on this call.
The best team in the whole world.
It's insane. But 3 points is 3 points, Arsenal sitting comfortably at the top of the league as they typically do the first 70% of the season. So nothing too shocking there. But let's talk about the game of the weekend, Manchester United Sunderland. Here we go. Yeah. No.
We can go quickly through this one.
No, 3
I'll
points
start
is
it.
3 points.
I'll start it. Fuck Mason Mount.
Okay, sure. That is a thought, definitely.
Yeah, I'll always have that thought though, Henry. Sorry, that one
Yeah,
that
guy
runs deep.
the guy that broke your heart.
Yeah, fuck him.
No, I was ecstatic, fellas, to get 3 points. All of us would go into this game against Sunderland expecting a result. Manchester United I was terrified going into this game. At the time, 4th place Sunderland, coming off of a performance against Brentford that was forgettable to say the best. As it's been well documented over the last however many years, you just never know what version of Manchester United is going to take the field. You have no idea how the players are going to turn up. You have no idea if the players are going to be up for it or not. And we looked pretty up for it for this game, especially in that first half. The Mount goal 8 minutes into the game. Mount's been our best player, if not top 2, when he's been injury free, which he's only missed a couple of games. Like he is undroppable in my opinion. And what's crazy is you're also taking, Cunha out of the lineup to put Mason Mount there. And Mason Mount is just performing super well early in the season before Šeško got up to speed. We had a Cunha, Mbeumo, and Mount front 3, and the interchange between the 3 of them was great. Mount's just that guy right now. Šeško getting a goal off of a long throw. Dobes is so funny because Dobes has talked so much shit on long throws all
Hates
season
him.
long, and then texted us as soon as it went in, and it was like, I guess I like long throws? Question mark. Just immediately, just shameless.
do you guys think
But,
they're training for those with the set piece coaches and like in
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
But
yes.
yeah.
And
There's a
the thing is too,
I've
is like,
gone all of it.
yeah, I feel like you can tell the teams that are training the long throw versus just throwing long.
It has to be
So, for
it has
example,
to be a data point thing.
yeah, but I mean, coming from a former long throw man myself, I knew
Couple
exactly.
of them on this pod.
Yeah, I knew
I was gonna say,
exactly
I
where
was
I
the
was throwing
footer.
the
Yeah, I can
ball.
throw a
Yeah,
line. I was a long thrower.
yeah, I knew
Yeah.
exactly where I was throwing the ball. I knew where Keith was at all time. I knew like I was aiming for Keith. I was not aiming for anyone else. And then if for whatever reason we were going to change it up, I was going to throw it, whatever. Yes, like it is a data point, and that's like high school soccer in St. Louis, Missouri. These guys who are like, going crazy and all this stuff. The one thing I do just want to call out though that made me laugh, who was it? Arsenal last week, Calafiori, or maybe it was the Champions League. Do you know how he got that towel and was wiping off the ball, and the ref was like, no,
It was primarily against Newcastle.
Delo was pulling like towels off the sidelines all game long to wipe the ball. I was like, this is so fucking funny, man. The rules change depending on who's playing. But yeah, just a solid performance. The big standout for me was we got a Sene Laman's debut. Sene Lamans is how I believe you say his name. We're probably going to get fucking torched on TikTok about it because we always do because we're American. But he just looked really consistent. There was a lot of really good distribution. He made a huge save in the 80-something minute where all the last couple of seasons, like, Nana lets that goal in. And so to have someone back there who's holding down the fort, who's coming out and claiming crosses, like, it just feels good. We haven't had
He actually looked competent.
Yeah, bro.
That's it. That's all you've asked for, too.
Yeah. And like what was funny was like when they had that break and then that shot that he did save, I had just like every flashback ever in my life of like every Andre Onana thing of just literally diving out of the way of the ball in order to let the ball go in. And then I also want to give flowers to Matthijs de Ligt, who I do believe has been our player of the season, our most consistent player all season long. He held down the center back yet again. I think he's been an incredibly underrated signing over the last 2 seasons. And obviously he came into the team where it was,
except on this pod.
Yeah. I mean, we've always loved him. I do believe that he's going to be the future captain of United. I think Bruno's going to go in the summer, and then I think that Matthijs de Ligt is going to be the captain.
You just said Mason
I'm
Mount was player of the season. Who is it?
For me, it's de Ligt, and I said Mason Mount could be 1 or number 2, but de Ligt has just played more minutes. He's been more consistent. He's been in the lineup every game. De Ligt for me so far is the player of the season, but I think he's our future captain. I'm really pleased with that. And Mbumo got an assist. Ahmad played his best game of the season. I just think that like Manchester United, there's always a storyline. There's always a headline. There's always like something going on. There's always conversation about the system. There's always conversation about whatever. And for like the first time in a really long time, I was like, that was just a really comfortable win. Like we didn't have to make that one harder on ourselves, and we didn't. And it was great. I was so ecstatic. I was pumped. Yeah.
Yeah, no lie. I absolutely put money on Sunderland money line.
Yeah. I figured.
100%. Plus 550, bro. Yeah, I hammered it.
Yeah, and it was funny too. Like there was you said that's a bet. Simon Adingra came off in the 37th minute when they were down 2-0, which for me I was very pleased with because I'm terrified of that guy. That guy is so quick, he's so fast, and he's shifty. Especially when he was playing for Brighton, he like punished us multiple times over the last 2 years. So him coming off early made me super stoked. But to see the competition between Cunha and Mount, I'm looking forward to. I hate that we're going into an international break right now for like the 19th time this season, but yeah, 3 points is 3 points, and I'm pretty stoked with it. And I'll also throw out Dope says we're building momentum. So if you've listened to our pod for the last 3 weeks, Dope says we're building momentum.
What does that
JP, don't ask. Don't ask, JP. JP, do not ask.
I've watched a couple. I've probably watched a solid, I would call it like a small handful of the United games live this season thus far, and all of the highlights from each week. I can't. I'd say they've looked the best against us in week 1.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Really good against us week 1, and I was stoked that we just held you guys defensively. And it's probably the only reason we went away with all 3 points there. I haven't seen a performance like that since. Even against Sunderland, getting the 3 points, like it still feels like a very sloppily earned 3 points from, a gameplay perspective. And I don't know if that's a player thing or a managerial thing, but maybe I would call it a bit of both, considering Amarim's interviews over the last few weeks. But realistically, do you guys, is your faith in him still and continuing on this quote unquote momentum that, you and Dobes are referencing? Or is it still a situation where, next loss against a mid-table club results in potential sacking?
It's a really good question, and it's a really fair question.
Oh, is it?
Yes, for me it is. If you go back a couple weeks when you and Dobes were getting on your tangent, I don't think I said a word during the United segment the entire time.
No, that's true. We were arguing Dubs the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't say anything. So it's a fair question. What I think is frustrating is I don't believe that, genuinely, I feel this way. I don't believe that another coach could come in and get the players to consistently play the way that we played against Arsenal. Like, if that is our our best performance of the season, I don't believe that there's another manager in the world that could take this group of players and make them play like that every single week. I just don't think it's in them. I don't think that all 11 of the guys, and what is you really need like 18 guys on the roster that come in with that mentality every single game. It's the reason why we have such like substantial dips in performance. It's the age old question of like, yes, you can have systemic tweaks to, drop a striker here or like clog up the middle a little bit there. But then when you look at like missed chances that we have, like the system doesn't dictate us not being to put the ball between the posts. Like that is just the players not being consistent enough. And so like the reason I think why like I still feel like pretty committed to the project with Amram is that even though like our performances haven't gotten us like back into the top 4, or we're not challenging for trophies or whatever it may be yet, there is a whole bunch of clear out that's happening along the way that you kind of need to flush out the bad shit in order to rebuild. And so what I hope is that we're able to kind of get through the bad shit enough with him still getting the opportunity to do stuff.
I believe in Amarim. Like I have always, like, Russo's like, oh, he's not the guy. Like he seems well fit to manage a winning club and get and
What'd you think about Erik ten Hag?
I didn't think that.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I know.
You know what I think about Erik. I think Erik,
like the biggest fraud in football.
I think Erik.
What do you mean? Leverkusen's doing so well right now.
I think Erik ten Hag, I mean, you can see it where he's at now at Leverkusen and already fired from his position.
Yeah. A month.
He lasted a month. I think that Amarim just maybe has a different quality about him that maybe speaks because Ten Hag did deliver a few pieces of silverware during his time at United, and obviously statistically stacks up a lot better than Amarim's first 30 games as United manager. I'd say clearly there's something that United's trying to do for the long term that they didn't see in Ten Hag, and that's really the way to put it. I think Ten Hag was a poor man manager individually, and I think they had a lot of issues during his spell with United in that. And Amarim seems to be able to do the intangibles a lot better than what Ten Hag was able to do.
Yeah, I also think the fact that you guys are playing only one game a week has a lot more pressure on Amarim as well.
100%.
Yeah,
totally.
So much more. And
yeah.
Having to figure things out a lot quicker than Erik ten Hag did, which was like 3 different competitions.
Yeah, a game every 3 days.
Able to see if what he's putting into his team actually works in multiple different lineups. Whereas Amarim's like, I need a result now. Or
the thing is that makes it interesting is like with Ruben, he's had so many different, I think, like bangers of quotes in interviews because he's done a fucking million interviews over the last year. But like one of the things that he said 2 weeks ago was like, the press was like, hammering Ten Hag about like changing up his system and like changing what made him successful at Ajax to formulate to the United players, and they lost their identity and they lost all of that. And now that I'm like staying true to my like system and my identity and getting the players to play my way of playing, you all are telling me that I'm not like flexible enough and I need to change my system and all this stuff. And he's just like, if I did what Ten Hag did, the same thing would happen to, so like there's things like that I think are the mentality thing. And like, it is true that the one game a week, there's so much more pressure on it. But I don't know. I looked at 11 that we put out over the weekend, and, if we're just looking at the 11 alone, when we are fully healthy, we won't see a Luke Shaw in the starting lineup. That'll be Lisandro Martinez. We'll have a back line of Yoro, De Ligt, and Lisandro Martinez. I love to see that. We desperately need another wingback in the transfer window, and we need another center midfielder in the transfer window, if not 2. So I think that if we can get some really solid signings in January, it may not happen until summer of next year, but if Amram's around long enough to do that, and we have, a new center back, a new wing back, and a new central midfielder, I think that team is pretty competent in my opinion. So
I think the biggest thing that, like, from my perspective, is not the manager as much in United's case or even a Chelsea's case. I think it's personnel. It really does come down to that. And, I think, listen, I would have loved to have silverware at this point in Arteta's tenure. He took over in December.
sure you would.
Before that, for Arsenal fans, like, we've had to been patient for quite a long time. So it didn't change much in that regard. But speaking to that, and I'm not trying to make it about Arsenal, I'm just talking about generally what we're seeing with an Ange, what we're seeing at Forest, what we're seeing even at Spurs since what's his face left. I'm talking about since your Champions League final against Liverpool. Yeah.
Sonny.
No, Pochettino. Sorry. Since Pochettino left, and with United, they gave Ten Hag some probably longer than they wanted to. But there's all this pressure to perform for managers and to get personnel and to sign personnel and to transfer for personnel that fits a quote unquote system. Like, we're seeing that it just takes time, and like we're seeing Maresca. What is this, year 3 for him?
2.
Full year 2, but like he took over midway through 23-24.
It was end of year.
Okay,
yes.
So Maresca's going to get his opportunity to do.
He had a month.
Maresca's earned his chance to take some time developing this Chelsea squad. You guys have signed made a bunch of bad signings, and I'd say a bunch of good signings, all in the same.
Bought half of them.
And it's nice when you can just make signings.
You guys,
exactly.
But you guys have had the ability to do that. Maresca is getting results, and they just beat, beat Liverpool. Like, he's getting some
champions.
So it's like, I think Maresca is going to be there for a while. I think United needs to allow Amram to be there for a while, and probably 3-4 years where ideally we see, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, City. I mean, look at City and Pep. Hopefully we see all these teams at the very top of their game with the most heated rivalries we've seen in 15.
I think it's coming.
But the through line is time, straight up. And I think that's why, like, fans want results now, but United has a lot of work to do window to window to window still. Chelsea still has work to do. They have to offload players. They got 2 guys training separate from the club. Raheem Sterling making 300,000 euros a week. Like, there's,
can you imagine?
There's plenty of cleanup to do in the Chelsea building and in the United building still, but I see it from Chelsea. I think United didn't have a great window. Am I wrong?
I thought United had a good window, in my opinion. I think that we were a center midfielder away from having like a 10 out of 10
You guys are still
window.
playing Casemiro week in, week out.
I think we're a center midfielder away from having a 10 out of 10 window.
I think you need 3 more center midfielders.
Yeah.
We had Declan Rice, Odegaard in our midfield, and we still had to go out and sign 3 more to get to a place where we could, I can confidently sit here and say, like, we're okay because of the depth we have. Like, you guys.
Hey, I mean, you're preaching to the choir. I mean, if we can go out and sign Adam Wharton and Carlos Baleba and whoever the fuck else, happy about it, bro. Happy about it. It's just, I will be very curious what happens in January with incoming transfers, and I'll be more curious what happens in the summer, because I also, going into the summer window a couple months ago, I did not expect us to have the window that we did. No part of me thought that we would sign like 2 number 10s, a 9, and a goalkeeper. I had no idea.
But the Onana business got done too late, and it's already had damaging effects on Amarim's season.
Sure has, brother. You're preaching to the choir.
I just don't understand. Like I think you guys had a solid window in terms of purchases. I think that in terms of getting you guys Premier League ready, like, there is some things that needed to be ironed out prior to.
I think a lot of the issues at United are not even in the dressing room. Like, there's so many more cracks that they've papered over from a business perspective that have hamstringed them. So, like, at some point, I did. I'm going to keep using that too, I think.
Mickey, I want to talk about the actual game of the weekend.
Thank you.
I will talk about Manchester United all day long. And JP, I'll have you on the United episode whenever Jobs and I are on. But let's talk about the for real game of the weekend. Thrilling ending. absolute steams. Chelsea 2, Liverpool 1. Nick, I have to believe that you were just on cloud 9. And I think Maresca gave us perhaps the best meme of the season of him like sprinting down the sidelines.
No
Shout
fucking
out
yeah.
like classic Jose Mourinho. Maybe only outdone by the Van Dijk twerking meme that came from this as well. But take your flowers here, bro. Talk to us about this game.
Yeah, this one hit like crack, boys. This one felt good. It was something us Chelsea fans desperately needed after some of the results that we've had over the past couple of weeks. But one thing that is consistent across all of those games is we've had 4 red cards in a row. Cheers.
Yeah.
4 red cards. Also, this was our 9th consecutive game with a new center back partnership duo. So like
There you go.
that just kind of shows where we're at.
Still
right
don't
now.
know who your center backs are.
Exactly. So we started 19-year-old Achipon and Badia Shield. Both of them coming into this game, I was very, very nervous for. Isaac starting, him kind of being in a competition over Ekitike. I was not thrilled with the lineup that we came out with. But I think Maresca got it spot on. I don't think he always does. And I think in the past, he's actually not gotten our lineup and subs right and kind of the style of play we should approach. But I thought he did a very good job during this game. The lineup, like I said, I was not thrilled coming into this game when you see a completely stacked Liverpool side with pretty much their entire lineup fully healthy as they would want. And then our lineup missing a lot of key players. I was not thrilled going into this. But I have a feeling this is going to be something you see from this Chelsea side throughout the year as we kind of play to the level that we're playing against. We're a very young side, and I think when we play against some of the top team, we're going to show out. I think when we play some of the lesser competition, they kind of sit deep in us and they kind of park the bus a little bit, and it's hard for us to break them down offensively. But when we're playing teams who usually try to do that against us and we're kind of on the counter, some of our young talent gets to kind of be unleashed, and I thought we kind of saw that a little bit here. I thought Garnacho didn't play awful, but also I think he needs to start having a little bit more impact.
Give him
on
a
the score
break.
sheet that I want. I also,
Dude, he just does the same
I think
things
Garnacho-
every
I know.
time.
I know, I
He
don't know
looks
how I feel
threatening.
about him.
He may not have created much, but like
He did.
I mean, he's kind of like, I don't want to say this necessarily, but he seems like he can have a similar impact to what like Pulisic had during his time there, like kind of a similar player profile a little bit.
I think the thing with Garnacho is I think he's not. The thing with Garnacho, I think that's happening is he's not scared to take people on, which is a good trait to have as a winger. He just is awful at the timing when he's taking people on.
Yeah, I mean, you
Dude,
could not be afraid of it. You just have to.
He
be
gets into
good
the
at it.
final third, and the monkeys with the symbols are in his brain, just like cling, cling, cling. He completely loses the plot.
But I don't even want to talk about him that much.
What
That
was
was
his
just something
top
I
mob
wanted
rating
to
for that
brush
match?
over quickly because I think there are very more important people that we should be talking about. It was
Like
a 7.5.
Yeah.
But Moises Caicedo, I mean, I've talked about him on and on in this podcast. For him to get a goal like that again in such a big game was incredible. I think he's a baller. He's literally like, I don't know how we keep doing it, but Chelsea continues to buy center defensive mids who are just freaking incredible. Like, I think Moises Caicedo is a Conte reincarnated. Like, he is so good. The other player that I thought stood on his head was Cucurella, and I don't think he gets enough credit for what type of player he is. Obviously, he's annoying. Obviously, he's one of those guys where you love to have him on your team and would hate to play against. But he pocketed Salah, in my opinion, and he also gave us the game-winning assist. I mean, he's on
Great
both
assist.
sides of the ball.
I mean-
and then obviously the assist in the 98th minute or 97th minute to Esteban.
It sucks that I have to acknowledge that he's
For-
good because he is so annoying.
I
Dude.
agree. I almost agree with you, and I'm a Chelsea fan. Like, the
Yeah.
fact that I have to sit here and be like, Marc
I'm
Cucurella
over
is
the
one of our better
annoyance,
players.
though. I
It's
think
like
when
wild.
he came into this team, it came into the squad a few years ago, and he was
Brighton. He was sick on
he was
Brighton.
extremely annoying to play
Like all
against
of our
up
team.
front, but at this point, you just have to appreciate how quality he is. Both, putting in man of the match performances consistently for Chelsea, constantly 8.5, 8.7, like just constantly, and then he's doing it at the international level as well. He is putting in matches for arguably one of the best. I mean, they are the European champions. So I think Cucurella. I look at the Chelsea squad and I feel like you have some clear and obvious like shining people to build around, and it's Cucurella. Reece James is I'm personally even like happy to see him back from injury and playing. I mean, dude, like even if he makes mistakes, like he's good. He's like really good. Um,
He's
And
incredible.
he's your captain. There's nobody else in that dressing room that's
Yes.
your captain.
I know what he was at his peak, and I think he's a step
I watched
slower than
him
what he was. Do I think he's still incredible? Yes.
He scored a
absolutely.
crazy free kick like 5 years ago against Brighton in the first match week of the season. Like I remember that specific. Yeah, no, he's
Short
incredible,
dread.
and it's good to see him healthy in general for the sake of, you know, him as a player. But you have Reece James, Cucurella, Caicedo. I feel like and then you have Cole Palmer. Like to me, that's who you build around. Like I don't see it from.
I also think Lavia is so good. I don't know if you guys watched him when
He's a
he came
baller.
on. I think he is so good. I think injury bug has kind of caught him in his early career as a Chelsea player,
Yep.
but I really, really, really do think when him and Caicedo continue to kind of grow their partnership, that they are going to be very scary. I
would
agree.
The
love
best
him at
I've seen
United.
from him was at Southampton. He was different.
Yeah,
He's so good.
I had my
we
doubts
haven't seen
about
that much.
Esteval.
Correct.
But
And
I think he's
I
got a
think
lot of
he is
potential,
special.
and I think that he's going to continue to develop. I think he needs some more starts. I know he had a few there for a bit. I'm not really sure what to. I don't really rate Gittins too highly.
I don't either, if I'm being honest. I think our left wing position is the only question right now. I think all of our other positions are kind of I mean, obviously our center back partnership, like
Yeah.
that is a laughable situation in and of itself. But like when it comes to left wing, I'm not sure who I would pick day in and day out because I haven't. Honestly, it might be Neto, and like
You
that's an
play Neto on the
interesting
left
shout
and
because he hasn't really
Esteval
been
on the
playing out
right,
on the
and I
left.
think you
But
have
like,
Neto, Esteval, João Pedro, Cole Palmer leading the line, and you guys play that lineup pretty consistently. Feel like you guys could cause some trouble, you know.
I also the Achipong. I know I'm pronouncing his name incorrectly, and I'm sorry for doing it, but like I can't talk about him enough in that performance that I think he just put on. An 18-year-old against $100 million striker from the English champions, and to pocket him.
I think that's a
I
good.
was very impressed with him.
I think
thought
that's
he
a fair
balled out.
point.
Gotta love to see it.
The thing about, sorry, I'm still on Esteval, but Esteval, like I think once he gets a little bit stronger and increases his physicality a bit, I think he can be a really strong starting winger for you guys. But he reminds me a little bit.
Yeah. I also think this goal is
for
huge
sure
for him.
He kind of reminds me
Like
of Odd a little
confidence
bit
level.
in like
Yeah.
like their playing style. Like they're also similar. They're similar statures. I think, you know, Ahmad's somebody who has scored some pretty important goals for United and contributed to pretty important results, and somebody who's getting in the team consistently. And not to bring it back to United, but I think Esteval could definitely make a case for being as exciting as he essentially wants to be, like given he gets the time and continues to, you know, put some goals and assists up there. But yeah, Neto out on the left and not having to rotate them too would be ideal. Neto is clear in a way like the best winger that you guys have on the squad.
Yeah, I think day in and day out consistency, you're spot on there. I'm hoping that we start to see some consistency in Esteval and hopefully getting him some more starts. Like I said, I think this was a confidence booster for him, and I'm hoping that Maressa kind of saw that as well and it's going to give him some more starts. I also think like the one game that he was supposed to start that we were all super pumped about was United, and then we get the red and he immediately gets subbed off. So like he hasn't really had his full 90 or start yet in a big game for us. So
not to flip the script here, but maybe we talk about
I think in the near future
the losing side of this.
I think we have to touch on it.
Where to start?
I do too, because wow,
listen,
twerking on that ass.
I don't know. I don't know what's the deal with Liverpool.
Points about Van Dijk
they
lately
can't
that
seem
are
to put it
obviously
together.
pretty brash, but they've allowed 9 goals this Premier League season. You know, like they've allowed.
Your argument looked better after this game for sure.
I also though, I think I see what you're saying with Van Dijk. My point is I think he's still very, very good, but he is not what he used to be, and we're seeing the impacts of other people having to have an impact defensively for Liverpool other than Van Dijk having to save their ass. I.e., like anytime he was partnered with Trent Alexander-Arnold, they were getting absolutely smoked on that side and he'd have to cover for him. Now he has Connor Bradley, who he kind of trusts, And then when he gets beat, he's not what he used to be in tracking back as much as he was with Trent. And I think it's kind of hard to blame it all solely on Van Dijk. But I do think you're on a good point here, JP, that his downfall or his decline in his abilities, I think, is massively impacting Liverpool defensively as a whole unit, I think, more than people thought.
Dude, and we're not, Giōkeres hasn't been fantastic.
Consistent.
No.
We've not seen Frimpong. Dude, if
I don't think
Frimpong's not a
that
right
was good
back,
either.
like Frimpong's not a right back that's going to give you any sort of confidence defensively. Everyone knew that. Like, there was a running joke. It's like, whoever signs this dude expecting
Liverpool need to bring Andy
right
Robertson
back
back
is
to
sorely
his
mistaken.
starting position.
He subbed in.
He's the reason why Esteval scored.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he
I mean,
absolutely
to be
lost him
fair,
at the
that
back
cross,
post.
that cross was at the goal line.
Doesn't look
like,
great for Robinson right now.
That ball should have ended up in the back of the net. Whoever was in that position, unless like that was a great Chelsea play. Like, let's just call it that. Isak, great touch.
I don't know what to
in the
make
box
of him, man.
To Gakpo.
You mean his mistouch? You mean the miss settle? That was so a settle for
Mistouch or
himself
not,
that
he
he
got the
overcooked.
And it looked pretty. And he brought
No,
the
you're
ball
right.
down in a dangerous area, and Gakpo finished it off for him.
Lucky or not, he beat the allegations, despite not looking great by any means.
I think Ekitike is
Don't think-
there should be their
I
striker.
feel so bad for that dude. Like,
I do too.
you
but I
come
think-
in with the confidence he has just to start bawling, knowing that this is probably going to happen from, your starting position standpoint. I feel terrible for him, and him being, one of my first fantasy picks and bawling when he played.
I don't think that Isak's going to keep starting over him if he doesn't.
I don't think so
perform.
either.
Like the thing is that Slot has made some pretty big decisions. Like, even in his short tenure, there are times where he was like playing guys that maybe we wouldn't have chosen. I mean, RIP, but Diego Jota was starting over all of their nines that they had at the club for. It's not that he wasn't a 9, but like, he wasn't an out and out striker. He didn't have whatever it was. And so Darwin Nunez couldn't find the back of the net. He didn't start. That just is how it was. And so Ekitike, that was balling the first several games of the season. Isak's getting a couple chances and he's not doing it. Slot would be foolish to keep playing Isak,
Right.
hoping that something different's going to happen. So like, I don't
And
see
by
a
the
world
way,
that Ekitike
I also,
is on
like,
the bench much longer, period.
Making the point about this Chelsea match where Liverpool is dropping points in the Prem, they've lost 3 in a row. Like, it's not just this matchup that we're like Liverpool is in the like we can easily look at the defense and have the Van Dijk, and even Konate has been extremely inconsistent as well. Like, both of them have been inconsistent, as well as their wing backs. Rotating Wirtz as a substitute in this match and starting McAllister. No, I mean, like,
wow.
I can understand
know
why
how I
Liverpool
feel about
fans will
him.
want to. I think he deserves time for sure.
Oh, I think he's going to come good. Yeah, I really do. I think he's
I'm
going to be
enjoying
really
him
good.
not being good, though.
I think
I'll tell you that much.
I think Wirtz
Soak
is
it
going
up
to figure it
now,
out,
'cause I'm
no
afraid
problem. I think
he's
it's
gonna figure it
more of a
out.
matter of how Slot figures out this system overall. Given that, to be fair, I think the
about to say,
biggest
where does-
mistake
where does he
Liverpool
play
have
for you
made
guys?
this year
At the
from an
camp?
attacking perspective is signing Alexander Isak. Quote that. Like,
I agree. I agree with that take 100%. I think
is
if
their
they don't sign
biggest
Isak,
mistake
they're
of the
flying
season
right now.
is pushing that transfer through. And I almost feel like they were pressured to do it from the player side. Like, we have this opportunity, we have to do this.
I bet there was some shit going on behind closed doors, which like Liverpool like promised Isak, like, hey, if you sit out, we'll come in for you. That's my guess as to what happened. Because I mean, not to compare the two, but very, very, very similar thing happened with Antony at Manchester United. Ajax gave the price, United wanted to pay less than that, and then behind closed door, United was talking to Antony and said, like, hey, if you make this statement that you're not going to pay or that you're not going to play for Ajax anymore, we'll come in and get you. And that's what happened. And then that's when we ended up paying like 80-90 million or whatever we did for him, because obviously like Ajax wasn't just going to like sit on him. So like, I'm curious if that's what happened, but I agree with you that they should have just moved about their business. And also, like, hindsight's 2020, you know, sometimes when you look at, if I have the chance to sign the Alexander Isak of last year,
And then
it's pretty hard to pass up on that. But
the way, the
Ekitike
manner of which it
was
happened,
starting the way it was.
I think you could argue hindsight in this instance if the season was already relatively underway and we were seeing Ekitike fit in really smoothly to that attacking front. Like, no, I'm saying they were.
Which they were though.
Yeah, I'm saying they were.
Yeah.
I'm saying like
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
you
I
could
thought you were saying they weren't.
to the hindsight being 2020 point that Henry's saying like, yo, they could have just
Yeah,
chilled
yeah.
on that $125 million sign and probably
And sign
mean,
a
like,
center back. Because I think the big loss
They
in
should
this
have
is
gone for
not
Mark-
signing Mark Gahey.
not
Like,
Isak,
I think
and
that
they
is
would be
a
they
huge
would
loss.
unbeaten probably.
They would
And
be
Mark
sitting
Gahey's
pretty.
continuing those performances at Crystal Palace, and Liverpool's not going to be able to afford to go get him in January, and arguably not even in the summer. I can
We'll
see
take
him
him.
in a Chelsea
Come
kit,
back.
that's for sure.
Come back. Well, he's already been there.
Who can't you see in Chelsea kit though?
Very true. Very true. Well, listen, gentlemen, we've ripped an hour and 15 minutes in this pod. I fucking love it. I'm just going to touch on a couple results real quick. We had some midweek games from the Champions League. We had 1-0 win for Chelsea over Benfica,
Huge
spoiling the Jose Mourinho return to the bridge. We had a Galatasaray 1-0 over Liverpool. Thank the good Lord. Tottenham tied their bogey team, Bodo Glimt, and Arsenal with the 2-0 win against Olympiacos.
Arctic Circle, tough place to play.
Tough place
to play, man.
You know, we didn't see quite the fireworks this round of match weeks of the Champions League like we did the previous match weeks. But, you know, it's a long Champions League season ahead now that we do that group stage, whatever it's called. So we are about to head into an international break. We have the last St. Louis City game of the season this upcoming weekend. And then we just move directly into City 2 playoffs that we'll be watching from our couch. But as always, follow us on the TikTok, the Twitter, Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. We got some more short, long form media going out soon. JP, thanks for being on this week. Always happy to have you in here. And until the next time, fellas, cheers.
Thank
Cheers,
Cheers,
boys.
lads. Well done, JP.
Well done.